Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm going to take you through the design and fabrication of a retail product display. I absolutely love the American office, and I found these cool vintage style TV keychains from Dunder Mifflin, Schrute Farms, Schitt's Creek, and a number of other TV and movies. I need a retail display that will highlight how cool they are. I thought I'd make it out of steel. Here I am fixturing the main frame. And check out this new icon mark for the Viroqua Public Market. It's true, I'm just doing this with a stick welder. Hey, you gotta start somewhere. Now I'm pretty much making this whole thing out of scraps, and this piece of white oak is a cutoff. And I'm going to use this for the base. Now I'm just mocking it up here. I think this combination looks really good. I've been working with ball bearings a little bit in my other builds, and so I wanted to continue that here. I was hoping to tap and thread the ball onto this little piece of round stock, but I couldn't fixture it, and so I went ahead with trying to actually weld those little ball bearings onto these pieces of flat stock. And I thought I'd try and weld them from the back to keep a clean overall look. The welds from the back were only partially successful. I had to do several of them over, and it created a lot of additional grinding and mess that I had to contend with. Getting the ball bearings on was also difficult. There's a weird heat differential, I think, between the post and the ball bearing. I was having trouble getting a good weld. Also, the motion of welding around a post is a little bit tricky. My welds had a lot of porosity and slag inclusions. I had to do some things over. I spent a lot of time trying to grind and grind back down to something that looked relatively finished. This is the part of the build where you really question the value of improvisational design and fabrication. But at the end of the day, the ball bearings and those steel rods merged together to create a weird, organic, unusual, and interesting shape, kind of like a metallic mushroom. So I'll take it as a win. This here is a piece of salvaged fur. I believe it is exterior cladding from Viroqua that my dad gave me, and it's going to make its way back to Viroqua in the form of some kind of background for this piece. I'm just trying to fit it here in place, and I'm not liking this at this point. It kind of looks a little castle-y, medieval-y, and I was thinking more that vintage motel aesthetic. Okay, white oak for the base. I got these recessed holes, and I'm thinking a couple of bolts straight up through the frame of the display, and secured with some nuts. I think that will make a nice strong connection. Now at this point in the build, I've reached the point of repair and reconsideration. I've got a lot of grinding work to do. I've got a lot of repair I need to do on some of the welds that were weak or ugly, but I gotta keep pushing through. Now I'm getting close to assembly here, and I'm going to finish out this white oak slab with some beeswax and orange oil. I'm going to trim down these bolts so that they're at a more appropriate height for final assembly, and I'll just round over the ends, putting everything together here. Some washers and tighten down those nuts. That's on there pretty good, and I can hammer the ball bearings to get everything into a better alignment. Now I cut the fur panel down to a better size, and I found some leftover one-shot paint to prime it, and I was hoping to do a little bit of hand painting or hand lettering of some kind. Of course, I found out that hand lettering is an incredibly difficult skill, and I practiced quite a bit, but ultimately gave up on trying to do it in one shot. I did need to fabricate some tabs to attach the wood panel for whatever I ended up doing. Made a countersink for some brass screws, and then started the process of trying to finish the rough frame down to a point where it was a smoother type of situation. Now I call my brand Folktopia, and I'm affixing my brand to the underside of the white oak base, and to the back of the sign actually. Yes, it's more grinding. I had to get a special grinding disc to get to the inside radiuses of those posts and ball bearings. And I'm slowly working it down to that weird metallic mushroom shape. One of the very few things that I purchased for this project were these cutting board feet. They have a nice soft rubber compound and then screw in with some stainless steel screws. And this is a bit better view of how those metallic mushrooms are starting to come into form. And I'm getting the back in shape. And start with the hand file to further refine the shape and bring out a little bit of a polish with just an emery board here. For a finish, I'm just using raw beeswax. It has a nice matte finish and almost magical luminescence. And this is hand lettering in Procreate. After a lot of practice, I ended up buying Stefan Kunz's Letter Builder grid, and that helps tremendously to create a more symmetrical letter form. I had the final designs printed over at Staples on a heavy matte cardstock. That ended up costing about $1.67. I'm really liking the way that this turned out. Just some spray adhesive to affix the artwork to the substrate. And in the event that the product line changed and you needed to change the artwork, you could peel this off and use it for a different purpose. Some brass screws countersunk to affix the sign to the frame. And I think it really does have an authentic look and feel. Some beeswax on the back. A little reference to The Office and the episode where Pam and Jim go to the Shroot Farms B&B. This has been a really fun project working on my family's business in Viroqua, Wisconsin, the Viroqua Public Market. You can see some of my work there. It's a great place to visit. There's a ton of different vendors that are selling all kinds of handmade stuff. During the COVID era, we're trying to move some of our sales online. We've got some of these cool keys available on our Facebook page. I'll put the link in the description. Check it out if you'd like to pick up a little bit of fun memorabilia in this vintage motel style. This has been a fun build. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe if you want to see some more, and we'll see you next time.